Hello and welcome back to the Puncher's Chance podcast with myself, Sam Hill, and as always, I'm joined by
Tovey
and
Ben Thomas.
In today's episode, we're going to be having a look back at this weekend's fights, including Nathan Heaney, Brad Pauls, and Dillian Whyte's return to the ring. As well as that, we're going to be looking at a quick interview Harry did with Rick Ramos, Jessica McCaskill's trainer, as well as talking about Haney Garcia and looking forward to next weekend's fights. Now there was quite a lot of boxing this weekend. I suppose to start off with, maybe we'll start off with the Willie Zepeda Maxie Hughes fight out in Vegas. Zepeda obviously got the win on in a retirement after the fourth round. What was your thoughts on the performance? Obviously, firstly from Maxie Hughes, and then obviously ultimately from Willie Zepeda as well.
One-sided fight, wasn't it? I don't know if the two of you have caught up on it, but
yeah,
he battered him. It was the right decision to pull him out after 4 rounds, I think, wasn't it?
I think it's the weekend of good decisions by corners. Ain't it?
Yeah, there was a few.
I couldn't believe how one-sided it was. I thought it'd be a lot closer than that, but yeah, wow.
Yeah, it was brutal. I think
scary.
When I was taking the notes, I wrote good first round for Hughes, and I thought it was, I say good, it was a decent first round, and he did all right. He was moving his head well, and he was fighting quite well off the back foot, and then just the dominance and the pressure from Zepeda in the second, third, and fourth round was scary. Just the way it was like 150 punches he landed in the second round or something, or threw in the second round. And if you're able to do that over the course of 10, 12 rounds, it's a long day for anyone.
Yeah, it's impossible to keep him off, isn't it? And he's got such a good engine that, it's not as if you can just try and sustain it to the point where in the later rounds you can turn it around, because he just keeps going.
There's not a lot of, when you look at Mexicans versus British fighters, it's always one-sided, ain't it? You look at Sonny Edwards, and back in, when was it now, November?
Yeah, Bam Rodriguez.
That was one-sided as well.
That was long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a style
that
thing.
That was in Phoenix as well, wasn't it? They're planning on a big fight in Phoenix.
Yeah, in terms of, style-wise, the British and the Mexicans doesn't go well. Munguia, Ryder.
They're not good dance partners.
It just doesn't match. It matches up well for the Mexicans. They tend to win, but not well for the Brits. It just doesn't suit us. And yeah, this one was no different. Zepeda was very, very special. He's 30-0 now. You know, you've probably got to be talking about him going in with some of the top names, and maybe that's something we can get into a little bit later. But
I think he gets the winner of Kambosos and Lomachenko, probably, isn't he?
I like that fight.
Could be a good fight.
That's in May, ain't it?
Yeah,
that's part of the busy May we've got. Brilliant May.
There's about 3 fights every weekend, I think, for me. Maxie Hughes had a bit of trouble going out to America as well, hadn't he? Because he flew out there and he got his declined entry into America, so they made him fly back. He had to get a separate visa to go back out there.
Oh, that's long. No,
so
I
he
didn't
did have a lot of trouble.
11 hours there.
Yeah, brutal. All his team got left off the flight, but they made him fly back to the UK.
That's brutal. That's got to be difficult. In terms
surely they know that he's boxing, and
it doesn't matter.
But apparently it was something to do with he had an ESTA instead of a visa, so he couldn't work, so the fight wouldn't have been allowed. So
that's his manager's fault then.
He got flown back to the UK and then landed back out in America 3 days before the fight.
It's got to make it tough to go in there and do the business after that, and to make weight and all of that stuff. You know, fight week's a difficult time, and you don't want to be flying halfway across the world and back again. And it's bad enough flying.
1 day,
it's bad enough flying once to America and then having to do it back and then back again. Yeah, fair enough.
Quite surprised you didn't support him though, Maxie Hughes. Proud Yorkshire man.
I'm a man of truth.
You're a man of truth.
I didn't back him. I'd love to back him, and I think I said I'd love to be one where we back a Brit, and
I thought you two did go for him, and I went.
I don't think I did.
You didn't.
No, I did not.
I think we went against Harry.
Well, you always go against me in these things. I will get, when I'm back in the Brit, I will get it right one time.
One of the times, and you'll
this
never shut up about it.
Right.
Fair enough. And then quick one, Dillian Whyte back in the ring, Christian Hammer. I haven't watched it. You can't watch it.
I've watched. There was a video. We did our exam this morning, and I watched that, eat my breakfast, and yeah, it was pretty terrible.
Ah, fair enough.
Terrible.
The walkout was pretty cool. It's just nice to see him back, to be honest. Any future fights with Dillian Whyte you'd like to see?
But I know what Ben wants
Wilder.
to see. Okay, Deontay.
And then
Chisora 3.
Just why not? I still stand by on Ngannou. I think it's a good fight. I think Dillian Whyte holds a big enough name that you could get him in the ring with Ngannou and it would sell.
I think you do Dillian Whyte, Deontay Wilder, and then the winner of that against Ngannou.
Yeah,
because Ngannou's going off to the PFL anyway, and so
Oh yeah, I suppose that buys you some time.
Gap until he's back in the boxing ring.
Joyce.
It could happen. I don't.
Domestic fight though.
It looks more likely after his performance this weekend.
Yeah. From both of them.
But let's be honest though, Dillian Whyte for the last 2 years, he's been through hell, ain't he? He's been called a cheat and all that, and it's come out that he ain't nothing to do with that. And fair play for him for stepping back into the boxing scene. And I want to see him in a big fight. He said in a post-fight interview that he wants to be out in between 6 or 8 weeks from now. So, it probably won't be a big name, but hopefully he's back in Britain fighting, not over in Ireland.
I think Dillian Whyte is what that Conor Benn interview did on GB News, where he's like, I've had such a hard time, it's so hard being me. Like, Dillian Whyte could have done that interview and you'd have been like, yeah, fair enough, it has been brutal. Whereas obviously Conor Benn with scrambled eggs or whatever it was in the end,
does that maybe tell a story that one's guilty and one's not guilty, maybe?
Yeah, quite possibly. Dillian Whyte, I think, knew the truth would come out eventually, but until that, it was a difficult one.
He's got a fat paycheck coming though, surely.
It's a shame to miss 2 years of your career from that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you would have missed out on some big paydays anyway, especially with the Saudi Arabia involvement.
He'll be over there by the end of the year, I reckon.
Yeah, he'll have a fight somewhere.
I'd have thought so. And you mentioned it, obviously, Joyce, we'll get onto that
a little bit later. Talk about that crap fight? Can we skip
Starting off with the Magnificent 7 card, which I think, again, I didn't watch all of it live, I wasn't able to, but from what I watched live and what I caught up on, another really great event. I'm loving that format of the big sort of 7 fights that Queensberry have got at the moment.
They need to work on their time management.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the only thing.
It ran on a little bit.
You can't be staying up till nearly 1 o'clock in the morning.
We were back watching AJ and Garcia.
Yeah, it was brutal. I'll pass over to you guys for the sort of opening fight. So you had O'Leary versus Matiori-san, 13-0 versus 16-0 going into the fight for the super light WBC International. O'Leary got the 9th round KO. What did you guys think of that performance? And obviously, is there anything coming up in the future for him?
It was a night of left hooks. I think that's the first thing I picked up. I don't know how many fighters won with a left hook or dropped their opponent with a left hook, but Pierce O'Leary's got a very dangerous left hook, and that's what won him the fight in the 9th round.
Well, he's now 27th in the world as well now, so he could start making a step up. Adam Azim could be facing, obviously he might have his own problems with a certain what's the guy's name? Dalton Smith. I think they want.
There's an interesting mix with British super lightweight, so because you've got Adam Azim with boxer, got Pierce O'Leary now with Queensberry, you got Dalton Smith with Matchroom, and you got Eubank with Wasserman.
Yeah. What about O'Hara Davis for O'Leary next? I'm just looking through the rankings, and you've got Liam Parrow, Sandor Martin. I think they were talking about that name a lot on
another
Saturday.
build-up fight he needs to need before he probably works his way towards a title fight, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. There is a big jump up between a fight like this and the big
some
big fight.
very good fighters are super lightweight.
They're all dominated by bloody Americans, ain't it? Haney, Lopez, Garcia. Do we put him up there?
Probably not.
He's in the mix for title shots, isn't he?
Yeah.
If he pulls it off, mind, we're all gonna look like mugs, aren't we?
Oh yeah, but I for the let's not
are you panicking?
Let's not run before we can walk. And then Ethan James Owen Cooper was the next fight. Cooper won with a 9th round. I think that was a retirement, wasn't it?
Yeah, they pulled Ethan James out.
For the British.
Another good decision.
British, welter, and European belts. And I think it was a good decision on that one. I mean, it's hard to catch it fully on the highlights, but
that was performance of the night, I think.
Yeah, it looked good. It looked really, really. Well, maybe a little bit later.
Up until the Heaney and Brad Paul's fight, that was fight of the night, probably. It was one-sided, but
the only other one I think was better was Liam Davis's.
Yeah, I was going to say that one. And then the next fight was one that we thought was going to be the fight of the night. It was going to be amazing and all of this, and it was maybe a little bit more one-sided than we thought. Dennis McCann versus Brad Strand. It was bubbling over nicely in the build-up. It looked like it was going to be a good fight. Dennis McCann just looked a bit too good for.
It was a comfortable night for him, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it started quite fast, but by the later rounds it sort of slowed down a bit, and it just kind of got into a rhythm where McCann was winning rounds comfortably, and it was pretty much the end of the fight at that point then, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think the only thing for me was if you're that dominant, sometimes it's a shame when they don't finish the fight, and you think, if you're that comfortable and that dominant, then you should really be going for the finish. But at the end of the day, you got the unanimous decision win,
and it's the first time he's gone 12 rounds as well, so he's got that experience now, so he can maybe make that next step up as well. So.
Yeah, and in terms of that next step up, I'll jog around our order a little bit just so we can sort of jump onto this one. Dennis McCann said he wanted Liam Davies as a fight.
I don't think anyone would fancy him after his performance.
Yeah, apparently, I don't know, actually, to be fair. I think Dennis McCann might have said that after his fight before Davies had got in the ring.
He might have watched the fight and
second round TKO from Liam Davies on Eric Robles. That was a performance. That was a statement.
That was meant to be his tough test, and he walked through him.
Yeah, I was taking notes for all the fights, and the only note I have for Liam Davies is great finish, because
another left hook as well.
Yeah, it was just nothing had happened really yet. Just as I was sort of settling into it, and he's just hit him with that shot, and it was beautiful. It was a beauty. Was it a left hook or was it a left sort of uppercut?
I think it was a left hook. I think he caught him with a straight that knocked him out on his feet, and then the left hook just put him down.
Just pushed him over with the left hook.
Inoue? Inoue? That's a tough test, and if that's a tough test,
the next step for him is world title probably, innit? But
yeah,
Inoue he holds all the cards at the top of the division, so
yeah, for sure. It's
unless
just whether
Inoue
or not
steps up in weight again.
It's 5v5. He's a sort of fighter you want on that card as well.
He did say that. I think after his fight, he said he'd take on any matchroom fighter.
Yeah, the only
Chuck
thing
him in with Anthony Joshua then.
The only thing I'm thinking with Liam Davies is maybe you give him a fight like Topalez, who fought Inoue last time out, and I thought looked quite good against Inoue, as sort of a bit of a sort of litmus test to see if he's ready for that level before you just chuck him straight into Inoue, because I fear if you chucked him straight in with Inoue that
you don't want to kill him off too early.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a difficult night.
The talent, so it'd just be hard to set up, I think, more than anything.
Yeah, it would be a difficult fight to make happen, especially because it would probably be over in Japan. I don't think Inouye's really looking to fight outside.
He doesn't travel, does he really?
No, and then to sort of jump back down, Zach Parker versus Tyron Zoigi, I think it was, is how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Now, I thought this was a weird fight. I think it was just the fact that Zoigi was smiling through the entire fight.
Just enjoying himself.
And looking for just one punch knockout and nothing else, really.
He's a former world champion, him as well.
Yeah, it was bizarre. It was a really weird performance. But reasonably impressive from Parker after the knockdown.
Well, he looked in trouble in the second round.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought he did look in trouble.
I thought there was an upset on the cards, to be honest.
Yeah,
and then
same.
Parker
Would there have been an upset, though?
I would have said so. Parker's favourite, ain't he?
Yeah.
Remember, not so long ago, he was meant to be fighting Demetrius Andrade at Derby Football Stadium. Yeah,
I think what Zach Parker did well after that was he started to extend the range and fight a little bit, keep the distance between him a little bit more, which then, was able to...
Parker did the Zhang, ain't it?
Yeah, exactly, and just box smart, and he was switching between the stances well, and it made it a difficult night for Zoigi and quite a dominant one for Parker, other than the knockdown. But there was times where you thought maybe Zoigi might get the finish in terms of in the second round and towards the end, but that's all he was looking for, was that one shot to land and make it happen. And then someone who... An unimpressive performance, I think, is probably the fair thing to say with Joe Joyce against Cash Ali. He went into that one a pretty confident favourite. I mean, your records wouldn't suggest so. He went in 15-2, Cash Ali 21-2, but I don't think that's a fair reflection on...
One of those defeats was for biting someone. I can't believe he was fighting on Saturday night.
Yeah, mental.
When my dad came in and he saw it on the TV, he said, "Wasn't that guy the one that bit David Price? How is he back on our screen? Surely that was like a ban."
No, boxers have done worse before, haven't they?
Yeah, true.
All right, Mike Tyson.
Yeah, well, the same, yeah. It was unimpressive from Joe Joyce. I think that just generally the performance wasn't great. He came in very big. He looked very slow. I mean, he's 2 stone heavier.
He looked nervous.
His tank was impressive, considering his weight. I thought we might see something similar to Zhang, where, he just has a shot in him, and then he'd do bugger all else. But he was generally putting on the pressure. and just eating punches. I mean, that overhand right was landed how many times in the fight? And
that's
just,
any other heavyweight he's going to sleep, or any top 10
Yeah,
heavyweight.
that's what I was thinking. You're in trouble against better heavyweights if you're going to be so open to punches like that. But
yeah, and it's something that's been known for a while, so I think
yes,
the fact that
no one's taught him, or he hasn't learned not to take
to fix up on that.
Got a new coach as well, Haney. So
yeah, but like, was he now 38? Like, should be learning that by now, shouldn't he? And I think the Joyce before the Zhang fights gives a much better performance against Cash Ali
100%. It's a confidence, boost. This fight on Saturday night, because he came into that fight probably with no confidence, and afterwards, we see him normally celebrate doing a front flip or a back flip. I can't remember. It's one of the flips he does.
He flips.
Yeah, he flips, but 20 stone. I don't think he flips.
I don't think so, no. I don't think he's got that in the locker at all.
Do you know what I want to see now? If I was Daniel Dubois, ask for the rematch.
Yeah.
Perfect timing for it.
Yeah, it'd be a good time.
There's a few interesting fights out there. You could put him in with Bacoli after Bacoli tried stitching him up with the sparring footage as well.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I think that Daniel Dubois fight would be quite good, because I think Dubois will want to get that result fixed, or get the one back on him after losing in what I suppose now looks like fairly unexpected fashion.
That's more of a 50-50 fight now than what it was back in lockdown.
Yeah, he'd be more confident now getting in with him after Saturday.
Yeah, and then the big fight, the big main event, the fight of the night, the fight of the year contender, Nathan Heaney versus Brad Pulls. Both of them went in with 18 wins going into it. Haney looked like he was gonna walk the fight at times, but then Brad Pulls just never said quit, kept himself in the fight, and won those later stages. Was the split draw the fair decision, do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
I agree.
I think at the time I had Heaney up a point or two, but when that result happened, I was not like, that's Brad Pulls deserved something from that fight. Arguably, the performance he put in,
he was so close to getting that stoppage, wasn't he?
So close. How?
And Heaney was very smart with the
gum shield.
Yeah,
I was about to say, how many times did the gum shield come out in that fight? Three times.
Three times. If he had a point taken off him for that, he loses the fight.
Yeah, and I think, even more so than that how he stayed on his feet in the 10th round. It was.
I don't know how he managed that.
He was getting absolutely battered, and he just managed to. He was wobbling, and he just kept up, and it was a testament to how much that belt meant to him, and how much that fight in Stoke means to him. That if that's or when it gets to happen,
surely.
Well, the Bet365,
them too.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I don't see why you wouldn't, run that back.
They're on about Heaney going for a world title, but realistically, who holding a middleweight world title does he go in with?
Yeah, I think until you defend your British belt as well, and yes, you could say arguably he defended it because he didn't lose, and that's technically how it works. But I'd like to see him win that fight.
Yeah,
he steps up,
right, doesn't he?
And I think he could, because I think when he boxed smart, when he used the jab, he looked not a level above Brad Pulls.
He won the first 6 rounds.
Yeah, he looked really comfortable behind that jab, and then he just wasn't able to do it for the full 12 rounds. Let Brad Pulls back into it, and yeah, it's a result you certainly can't say no. You can't say that he didn't deserve something from that fight.
You want to see it again as well, so it's probably a decent result.
I don't think
it makes us want to see it more.
I don't think the second time round would be as good.
No, probably not.
You want to see
it again because
winner.
Of if. The word if.
Yeah,
true. If it ends up being the same, then it'd be another cracker. But I think second time round, Heaney learns from our mistake and doesn't put himself in as much trouble.
Jerome Warburton, Welsh fighter, on Instagram.
He wanted it. He wanted it.
Could give him the winner, maybe.
I mean, yeah, you can't
give him the winner.
British title's next for him, regardless, isn't it?
Yeah, that's something he's got to be working towards. It makes a lot of sense for him. It's just whether or not Nathan Heaney, Brad Pulls at the Bet365 stadium in the summer makes more sense. I think it probably does.
Oh yeah, that does in terms of them too. But I mean, going forward after that.
Yeah, and it's whether or not we get another. Maybe that is people are talking about Nathan Heaney in Stoke. Maybe that is the next Magnificent Seven card, because I'd be surprised if this is the last we see of that.
Oh no,
that format.
I think Frank Warren said he's making it like he's struck gold, and he with the format. So
yeah,
if he's got Magnificent Seven cards and with the 5v5s, if they continue to do them past when's it, June?
Yeah,
he's got 2 card types that he could just keep running with every year that he knows is going to be a success.
Yeah, they're planning on doing a 5v5 over here in the UK as well.
Yeah,
so
I think Eddie Hearn
looks like
said
it's going to be a long-term thing.
The other thing I saw bubbling away, and we'll that sort of runs us on to the audio clips later, was with Boxer. Johnny Clark from Top Tier said that he thinks if he was to do a 5v5, it would be against Boxer, because he thinks his fighters are at that level.
Oh, that would be so good.
That would be some event. They're both on Sky.
I'll go and ask my mate if he's up for it.
They're both on Sky, Johnny Clark and Boxer, so it makes a lot of sense. Top Tier versus Boxer.
I think in terms of, especially doing fight nights in the UK, that they would be perfect. You'd get a good crowd every time with them.
But also, it seems daft, but how has it taken till now to work this out?
Because none of them want to work until the money gets involved. None of them want to work with
money
each other.
Talks, don't it? Money
but
talks.
Surely, even not the big events. But you're talking the likes of the Sanagars, the Nielsen's, Vote Boxing, Top Tier, people like that. They'd be daft not to. But I suppose they don't want to risk their fighters against one another.
GBM as well. Don't forget GBM.
There's so many, and you'd think that I can understand.
Massive, isn't it?
I can understand why it took Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren till the Saudi Arabia money to make that work, because they are at the very, very top. But below that, it seems bizarre that it's taken this long. And
they could fill out any arena.
Yeah,
and they can do it anywhere.
And that way as well, for the smaller hall fighters, you get 2 sides of the crowds, don't you? You'd be able to fill a bigger venue than you would be with a home fighter, away fighter sort of dynamic.
You fill in big venues, and I think it wouldn't matter as much if you were losing the fight, because you could get back in there on another card, and you've got another big fight to look forward to anyway. People are never going to be fed up of seeing, especially 2 rival promotions going at it. It's always going to be an interesting thing to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, without a doubt. And like I said, that somewhat, not really, it was a bit of a vague connection, puts us on to our next audio clip. Just last week we were at the Jessica McCaskill, Lauren Price press conference with Sky Sports Boxer. Thank you to Harry Tovey for that one.
Thank you.
I think we say thank you to Jared, don't we?
To Jared Parry, yeah, of course, from Boxing Social.
No, boys, let's just work out what happened at the end of the day as well.
True, we'll get to that. But
I'm still waiting.
We'll get to that once we get the here we go.
Your email is off that list now, mate.
Once we get the here we go on that one. But yeah, so we were at that one, and there's loads of great content up on the YouTube. Interviews with Lauren, Jessica, Johnny Nelson,
cracking one with Johnny Nelson,
Ben Shalom, Andy Clark, loads of top names. The latter 2 Harry's smirking for, because he was able to get those 2. But this one is with Rick Ramos.
They're the 2 best ones,
Yeah, of course.
Oh, you're using one of my interviews as well?
Yeah, this
boys. See, when we go to events, I'm the one that works the hardest.
Oh, is it now? Is it now?
He's not going to do any interviews. Harry, which interview are you going to do?
That's
what you go like. That's you, Ben.
Great impression, to be fair. Great impression.
Yeah, it's spot on.
Stick a Valley's accent on.
Sorry.
And I thought it was Ben. Yeah, so Rick Ramos, Jessica McCaskill's trainer. He's a trainer, he's a manager, he's a coach,
does everything.
He's a husband, which I didn't realise until...
What?
Yeah, until I got home and looked on their Instagram. No, I didn't know they were together. But anyway, this is Harry's interview. It's about 2.5 minutes long. So if you don't want to listen to it...
I have to sit here and listen to my own
voice.
But
yeah, we're going to let Harry listen to it.
Skip over as well.
For 2.5 minutes. See what he had to say about the fight and the event and all that stuff which Harry talked about.
Unified WBA, IBO and Ring Magazine World Championship fight. Just tell me, how did this fight come about?
We were supposed to fight Ivana Habazin as a mandatory for the WBC. So we felt like that opportunity wasn't challenging enough. So we wanted bigger options, bigger opportunities. So we reached out to Boxer, see if they were interested in a Natasha Jonas and or a Lauren Price fight. Then a Lawrence Price fight came to fall into place. And that's where we are, and that's kind of how it came about. We reached out to them and just made the fight happen.
Obviously, they were talking in the press conference then. Are you expecting it to be a hostile environment come May 11th?
Oh, for sure, without a doubt. But I think, Jessica and I are so used to this, so that we usually leave wherever we're at with respect. We came to East London when Jessica fought Katie, and we built a lot of fans. The UK fans are loyal. The UK fans they understand what a real fighter is. They know that Jess is a real fighter. So wherever we go, sure, it's hostile to start the night off, but it never ends that way. It's always a lot of respect afterwards, for sure.
What are you expecting then from Lauren? What's she going to bring to the table?
I expect Lauren to touch and go, kind of not engage. I expect that, so we just got to work out a scenario that will get us closer to Lauren and touch her more, go up and down, test her body, see if she can take body shots, see if she can handle pressure, and suffocate her, and don't let her think too much, don't let her get off rounds, don't let her catch a rhythm. So it's all those things, we plan to change it up. You might see Jess box, you might see Jess fight, you might see Jess go righty, you might see her go lefty. So we're going to do everything we can to prevent this, Lauren Price train from going any further. So that's the plan.
Jessica, she's had more world title fights than Lauren's had professional fights. Do you think it's too soon for Lauren?
It could be, but you know what? Maybe Jess fighting Katie Taylor was too soon, and it was, because I think if Jess would have fought her 4 or 5 fights later, we would have stopped her. You know what I'm saying? But when they go in too early, and we won't really find out until she gets hurt. She's only been 10 rounds once, Lauren, so will she be okay in the 8th, 9th round after going 6, 7 rounds with a world champion? How will she feel on the back end of that fight? We just got to bring her to the back end of that fight and see what she's really made of.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much.
So that was
It's nice to see some of us do work when we go to these events.
Thank you. Really good interview.
Beautiful.
Really appreciate it.
If you want other great interviews,
you had a cracking interview with,
like I said,
Jessica
McCaskill.
Jessica, you did Lauren.
I did Lauren. He did Jessica McCaskill.
You did Lauren, and then paused halfway through and said, "Your mic wasn't."
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that bit. But yeah, all that content is up on the YouTube if you haven't seen it already. But that fight, that event, it's a great one for Welsh boxing. The event.
We finally got our Cardiff card.
We have, and like Ben said, Ben Shalom, this is that the plan is to have lots of great Welsh fighters, lots of great Welsh matchups, some Welsh belts. Something we've been banging on about from
heavyweight
from February. Fingers crossed,
Moses Jolly,
the likes of Moses
fighting
Jolly,
for the heavyweight title on that card. Mark my words.
That's
hopefully.
When I interviewed him, I wish I'd dropped some names in. Moses Jolly, Conor McIntosh, Joshua John.
Yeah,
all those.
Big up the boys. But it's going to be a really great card. There's a lot of Welsh fighters that are rumoured to be on there, and I'm sure it'll come out in due time. We're not going to be the ones to get a lawyer's letter through the letterbox. I don't know where they'd send it, but it's not worth it anyway. But that's how good is it to finally get that big fight, big event in Cardiff, in the Motorpoint. Lauren Price, Welsh return. Could be first female Welsh world champion.
As Ben Shalom said to me, they have to come back for a reason, and this title fight is the reason why Lauren Price is coming back to Wales, and it's huge. Everyone's going to be watching. She's the next Kawasaki, in my opinion.
If she wins, she probably the most successful Welsh boxer ever.
She'll be the 14th Welsh world champion.
She's Welsh world champion, Olympic gold medalist. Yeah. She also played for Wales in football.
Yeah.
What was it, 52 caps or something?
In terms of a Welsh athlete.
Played in the Champions League with Cardiff.
Yeah, you don't get much bigger than that, do you?
No. There's not many people can say any one of those things, and the fact that she can say all of them is mental.
Sort of thing when you're retired, you go, yeah, I did that.
And she did a sports development and coaching course at USW or something as well.
The best thing that she did in her career.
Yeah, mental. How has she had the time to do all this? Because she's 27, 28, I think.
It'd be interesting to see what sport she takes up after she wins a world title, no?
What's our guesses? Let's take guesses. What sport is Lauren Price going to do next?
Darts.
You reckon darts?
Rugby after
I think she could row a mean boat. I think she'd be a good rower.
Posh boy speaking there.
Oh yeah, I've never been in.
Me and you do proper sports. And
we went with the Welsh sports, and you've gone with.
I've gone rogue.
Oxford versus Cambridge.
Nah, down the River Wye. Ross on Y.
Yeah.
We've just stuck to
Simmons,
all the sports that Wales are good at.
Yeah. Well, darts.
Darts were good at, but not rugby.
We were.
Let's just quickly.
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's forget about the rugby and all that chat.
Yeah, not darts as well. Welsh Open was won by a Manc, wasn't it, a few years ago? Big Luke Litter.
He's trying to wind you up, yeah.
I'm gonna leave the podcast. Where's the lawyers?
But anyway, yeah, that's a brilliant fight and a brilliant card that we have got to look forward to. But
hopefully we get in as well.
A fight that we might be looking forward to, we might not be, but we're probably not going to see. Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia. The meltdowns on Twitter, the meltdowns on Twitter Live, YouTube, everywhere from Garcia. Is this fight going to happen? Should this fight happen? I suppose that's the questions.
If this is one big publicity stunt, it's the maddest thing ever.
It's all an act.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but it just seems like
it's a weird way to sell a fight, don't it?
Yeah, there's better ways. Yeah. There's better ways to sell a fight.
It don't make him look good, does it? Regardless, if he goes to win the fight, you still look at it thinking...
If anything, it's worse pretending to have mental health problems and drug issues for publicity is worse than actually having mental... if he's got mental health issues and there is drugs and drink involved, then it's kind of like, shit, get him the help he needs, get him out of this high-pressure environment of a fight camp and get him back on track. But if he's doing it for publicity and pretending,
it's
then
a weird way to go about it, isn't it?
So
get him out the limelight.
Yeah, I think let's pretend. Let's say fight gets called off, or that matchup gets called off. You've got to put someone in. Either. You've got to put someone in with Haney to fight on that card. Who are you picking? Who do you think you could fill that card with? I think a lot of people. Shakur Stevenson's a name that's been thrown around.
Jake Paul.
He's fighting everyone now, ain't he? Jake Paul?
True. I think it's tough because there's a lot of fighters that there's not a lot of fighters at that level in terms of Devin Haney is a very, very good fighter.
Rolly Romero.
Yeah, you could
Haney
do Rolly
Golden
Romero.
Boy?
Yes, I think so.
Sure,
I think so.
Golden Boy.
Obviously, Regis Prograis fought him last time out.
Do the rematch there.
Maybe.
Has he got a fight coming up, Paul?
Teofimo Lopez, possibly.
Teofimo.
You could put in there with Devin Haney. That would
when
probably
did he fight? January or
February. So it might be a little bit tight.
Great in that one,
no, he didn't look great against Ortiz, but he's got a world title, and I'm sure Haney would be.
He was lucky to win that fight, wasn't he? Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah, I'm sure Haney would be happy to accept another belt.
I just can't see the fight being called off.
It's all an act.
Like they're gonna run with it, isn't he?
Yeah.
But imagine he's like this. Imagine it's not, and he's like this on fight night. Just like
he could.
Yeah, it would be a mess. I think.
Something could
but
happen
surely,
in the ring
like, with his who's his trainer?
AJ's former one, ain't he?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I can't remember his name now, but surely he wouldn't be involved with something like that if he knew it's like something serious.
Where's the boxing board as well in it?
Well, by all accounts, they've ordered a mandatory mental health check going into the fight, but
yeah, and he's refusing it, isn't he?
No, I don't know. It's one that we'll see, and I don't want to go into in endless detail because it's just lots of speculation and lots of
it's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah, bizarre social media antics. But it's an interesting one, and whether or not that event will still happen or not. And I don't think the stadium's selling out very well because maybe America's struggled to sell out events at the best of times, but maybe some of those antics are actually working negatively towards promoting the fight because people are like, well, what's going on? Will it even happen? Who knows? But a card that will be happening, as far as we're aware, Matchroom card in the Sheffield Arena, Sheffield, this Saturday. Dalton Smith versus Cepeda is the main event. Ishmael Davis fighting on that one as well. Sandy Ryan, Terry Harper.
What a fight!
That's going to be fight of the night.
The two names you just named there, Harper and Ryan, and then also Ishmael Davis and Troy Williams. Them fights there. Williamson, sorry. Unbelievable.
There's some really, really good fights, and I mean, obviously we could go down all the way to the bottom of the card. We're not going to do that, but when you got Campbell Hatton fighting for the Central Area title, he's 14-0 now. If he gets through James Flint, he'll be 15-0. and working himself up.
It's time to fast track now though for
the
Campbell
division.
Hatton, ain't it? He's taking too long. He's had 14 learning fights.
Yeah.
Finally, he's getting a title shot now.
I feel like some people compare him too much to his old man, don't they?
Yeah, but he's the son of him, so he's going to have that throughout his entire career, ain't he?
Like, obviously you can't escape it, but there's no need to push him too quickly, I don't think. Like, he's only if he wins this weekend, he's only going to be a Central Area champion, I think.
I think he won this title as well in the same
I think you either go English,
well.
you either go English or Celtic title after this.
Yeah, I'd say probably English.
It's mad to think though that this Central Area super lightweight title is the same level as a Welsh title.
Yeah, it's mental in terms of how it's rated. It seems
this
bizarre.
is why the Lauren Price fight night should be quite good for Welsh boxing, because hopefully it'll start to put the Welsh titles on the map a bit more and
put the rounds up as well.
Build them up a bit, like,
because there's no like, the Welsh title fight has to be 10 rounds. Some fighters are fighting for the Welsh title and it's 6 rounds.
Yeah,
not even 8 rounds.
Yeah, and it's only one judge as well on those.
And that's the referee.
Yeah, but obviously on a big card,
it would be, like, so many of these title fights, all these titles haven't been fought in so long. Like, for example, the heavyweight title, last one's 1989. Like, it needs to be built up. You need a consistent run of Welsh title fights for people.
There's not many people coming through as well though in the heavyweight division, is there?
No, but it'll build over time, and it's not going to happen overnight.
It's the thing with Welsh people, we're not big people. We're quite small, aren't we?
True, generally speaking. It is. You're a smaller nation.
Yeah, in height, I mean, by that as well.
Yeah, but you make up for it in, I don't know.
The Englishman's trying to be nice to us now.
He's making
pride. I'll go for that one.
He's making up for calling Wales an area now.
It's not an area, but
that's what. Didn't he say that 2 weeks ago?
No.
Should we move back to
the Welsh area title?
You won't find the audio clip. It's been removed.
I thought that podcast was gone.
No, so yeah, Campbell Hatton fighting for that one, and like you say, I think it is ready for him to start to jump up if he gets the win on that one.
That's a 50-50 fight, man, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a decent fight. I mean, James Flint's ranked, I think, 30th as a British super lightweight. Campbell Hatton ranked 22nd, 14-0, 13-1. You know, they have similar records. So like you say, they should be, and Flint's a Yorkshireman. He's from Doncaster, so he will probably have the crowd behind him a little bit more.
Speaking about him as well, I was just like looking at these fights last night. James Flint's pro debut was stopped halfway through because the paramedics had to go and treat the fighter on the same night. The later died in hospital.
Wow.
Fucking hell.
You do some diving, you do.
Some deep dive.
Jesus.
I was just looking at the fights last night and I come across that. I was just like,
that's mental.
Mad for a pro debut for that.
Yeah, it's not a great way to start.
You got the nerves running through you and then, wow.
You get stopped halfway through.
Well, was it a draw then? The fight ended?
It went down
no
as
contest.
No contest.
Yeah.
His pro debut.
Wow,
so I was looking at it, I thought that's weird to have a no contest on your pro debut, and then I had to look at it and it was because one of the other fighters died on the night.
Mental. Well, fingers crossed we won't have that on this night. I mean, any night you don't want that, but obviously this one, Sandy Ryan, Terry Harper, like we mentioned, that's a big fight. WBO World Welter, which is
implications for Lauren Price as well, probably.
It does, yeah. Is the WBO belt the one that Jessica McCaskill had to vacate?
WBC, because she was meant to be fighting someone over in Croatia, defending it.
So no, because Jessica McCaskill got a split decision draw with Sandy Ryan.
Yeah, that was for.
So did Sandy Ryan keep the?
She kept the WBO.
She kept it. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
WBC's just out there now.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, there is, if whoever wins that fight between McCaskill and
gets the
Price, arguably will probably fight the winner of this one because you'll
another cracking fight to have in Wales as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over at the Cardiff City Stadium.
Yeah, and I think Sandy Ryan's fought in Cardiff before. I think she fought.
That's where she won her world title.
Yeah, she fought in the international arena. So.
On the Cordina undercard there. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's looking like it's gonna be a really good fight. I mean, world number 2, British number 1 versus world number 4.
They're both coming off a
British
draw
number
as well.
2. Like you say, yeah, coming off a draw as well. It should be a really, really good fight. And it's nice to see. It's nice to see, big women's fights on these cards up towards the top of the card as well.
That could easily main event itself.
That can main event anywhere else.
I presume that'll be the co-main event. Or not the co-main event, but it'll be the one before the big card at the end. And then you got Ishmael Davis, like you said, fighting Troy Williamson, 12-0 versus 22-1. Ishmael Davis,
final eliminator as well for the British title. So
yeah, it'll be a big fight, that one, and one that
the British.
Mm-hmm.
One that they'll be looking to
so
win.
If it's like anything like Nathan Heaney and Brad Pauls, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, it should be a good scrap. And then in terms of that fight, whoever wins that one, like you say, who do you think they put them up against in that division? I mean, there's a lot of big names. Janae Boston,
Jack McCann, Louis Green.
Yeah, Louis Green, Sam Edgington, maybe.
Greener.
Sam Edgington could put, or Eggington.
I'd put him in with Jack McCann first, because obviously Louis Green beat him.
Yeah.
Have you seen who Williamson's beaten though? Harry Scarf, Kieran Smith, Ted Cheeseman twice. You know, all back to back post pandemic as well.
Yeah, he's had some good wins in his career, and it's certainly not going to be an easy one for Ishmael Davis, and vice versa. It's two top fighters. I mean, obviously, Williamson lost to Josh Kelly, which is a top British super welterweight.
Can you say he got destroyed that night? But it was very wide, wasn't it? The decision from the judges there.
Yeah, it was a fairly comfortable win.
Yeah.
And then the big one, Dalton Smith, Jose Cepeda, for the WBC Silver Super Lightweight. Obviously, Dalton Smith, like we said, is bubbling away with Adam Azim. That was
they're going to be keeping an eye on it, aren't they?
A fight that was looking like it should happen, and would be a great fight if it did happen. But if Dalton Smith beats Cepeda for this one and gets the WBC, that's a big jump for Adam Azim from the European. It would be a difficult fight for him, I think. You know, this is to not look past this fight. Cepeda's someone, fought Regis Prograis, obviously lost that fight.
More experienced, ain't he?
Fought Richardson Hitchens as well. He's fought for some top belts, and so like you say, it goes back to that sort of talent versus experience, kind of like we're saying with the Price McCaskill fight, where is an upcoming talent going to be able to beat the sort of solidified experienced fighter?
There's some really good fights on that card, isn't it? Looking at it,
and it's all in our subscription as well. No dodgy screams this weekend.
Beautiful, we love that. We love to see it. Now, what we're going to be doing on the podcast now, great idea from Ben, Boxing News, this is not sponsored, but they've got a new app that lets you make your predictions on the app, gives you point scores for correct decisions. Are we going to do this live? Are we going to put them in live on our phones?
I don't think.
If we've got it up.
Oh, I haven't got my Wi-Fi.
Let's have a look. Is it?
If we've got it up, you can do it after if you want. But
I can change mine then.
We'll look at those first 4 fights. I don't know, are those all 4 of those fights on there? Yeah, those are the only 4 fights on there. Perfect. So, predictions. We're going to be putting them live on this, and we can do a bit of an update and have a score in terms of who.
Oh, make your picks.
Who is the best predictor? Because up to this point, I think I've been shit. I
think we've all had our up and downs.
We've had some stinkers.
Yeah, if you listen to Harry, he wins every week. But
yeah.
No, I'd take this weekend. I had a stinker. Let's be honest.
We've all had our downs
this weekend,
but you two have had some big ups, and I haven't had many. I think. I mean, although to be fair, the AJ knockout is a pretty.
Yeah, but what did you predict in the AJ Wallin fight?
Yeah. I was just going for something then.
Are we starting with James Flint Campbell Hatton?
We are James Flint Campbell Hatton. Predictions for that one, Harry?
Gonna go Hatton. Oh, what's happening here? I have to sign in. Oh.
Okay, Ben, what are you going for?
Campbell Hatton points decision.
I'm going for a Campbell Hatton points decision.
Yeah, same. I'll type mine out. I need my password.
Ishmael Davis versus Troy Williamson. What are we going for, Ben?
I'm going to go Ishmael Davis points decision on that one.
I'm going to go for an Ishmael Davis knockout on that one.
Draw.
Draw?
Oh, easy.
It's gone bold. That Heaney Brad Pauls fight is in your head there.
Yep.
Sandy Ryan, Terry Harper.
I really like Terry Harper, she's one of my favourite female fighters out there.
This is a really difficult one to call, this one.
Could be a draw. Fair. Could be another draw.
I'm going Sandy Ryan points decision.
I'm going to go Harper points.
I'm backing Harper. I'm backing the Yorkshire woman. Harper points.
Yorkshire.
Big up.
Time you back to Yorkshire person, can I just say?
Yeah, I've got to bide my time. Pick the right ones. Pick my battles. I can't be backing them blindly every week. Unless, of course, you stick Josh Warrington in the ring and then he is getting backly blinded. You could put him against anyone and I'm backing him. Dalton Smith, Jose Zepeda in Sheffield in the UK. Which one are we going for?
Smith knockout.
Yep.
Smith knockout.
Completely agree.
It's a big claim. He's got a high knockout percentage, to be fair, Dalton Smith.
Completely. I can't believe I'm agreeing with Ben Thomas.
In his hometown.
You get big points if you get a draw, mate.
Do you? Wow, boys, it was nice knowing you've been in the lower leagues.
I'm going to go for
He's gonna go
a Dalton Smith decision.
We're all agreeing.
I can't go against a Yorkshireman at home.
Okay.
I cannot do it.
Wait, did you go with Sandy Ryan or?
I went for Terry Harper.
So I've gone different on that one.
There we go. Big one.
Makes
we
it
will
funny,
see. So
this is how gambling
Make sure you
in
lock that
boxing.
in.
Yeah,
I'll screenshot it.
How'd you
and I'll
lock
send it?
How'd you lock it in on
You
here?
just
Submit predictions. Here we go.
I'll send it over on the
Ooh,
WhatsApp,
tiebreaker.
boys,
How many rounds?
So you
I've gone
don't
38
actually- I never cheat me, you know.
Oh, shit! I should have.
11-1, that is.
I should have. What I should have done.
This is our version of gambling now, ain't it?
Yeah, proper.
Balls to betting money.
We need a sponsor at some point, so if anyone...
We do. If anyone's listening, mine's 17.4 to 1. So 17 to 1.
I wonder what mine is with the draw.
I wouldn't want to know. Anyway,
This man is like, oh, bloody idiot, saying a draw.
No,
You
I've
put
done it.
AJ and Wall in as a draw.
Oh, but come on, if I pulled that off.
Exactly. If I pull this off, it's incredible.
Yeah, no, I've been there. It's worth it.
Got to be different. Got to be different.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that pretty much wraps it up. I'm looking forward to next week where we can actually do a points comparison, because we don't tend to necessarily talk about the predictions too much, because I think partly we forget them and partly we have no way to really measure.
Unless Harry gets them right, we don't look back on them, do we? Really?
Yeah, we can ignore it then if we have to. We'll be back next week, of course.
Before we end the match, I want to just say, Ben, I hope you had a lovely day on Saturday.
Yeah. Good podcast, lads.
Yeah. you got Blue on the mic for
the Bluebirds.
For the Bluebirds.
I'm just all I care about is international football, so I don't know what you're on about.
So what we're saying is...
are you saying that South Wales is black and white?
It is indeed.
Yeah.
Because Merthyr
yeah,
is the
I knew he
biggest
was going to
club
say
in
that.
Wales.
I saw the flag. We had a nice breakfast though, so it's all good.
Okay, hear me out real quick before we finish. Cardiff City batter Swansea, like I'm talking 5-0, you know.
You won't hear the end of it with him.
It's unbelievable.
Shut up.
But Wales don't qualify.
Not Wales all day.
You're picking Wales
every single day.
Mate.
He's a proud Welshman, ain't he? He's got
Mate.
Yes Cymru on his car.
International football always comes first for me.
I would pick a Leeds win against like Rotherham at Ellen Road against like England win. Like, I don't care about England.
I've got to agree with Ben though. When I come
Cardiff
in terms of rugby, you two are football. In terms of rugby, I'll support the nation more because it's more likely.
Rugby, I do.
Yeah.
Rugby, I care more about the nation. But
as long as we reach Germany in the summer, that's all I'm happy about.
Fair enough. Enough.
This is a boxing podcast as well, boys. Like,
it's true.
I know I brought it up. I just wanted to add.
It's got to be done.
You got petrol to.
Got to get on the one. Anyway, that calls it just for an episode. Like I've said, I've only mentioned it a few times. Interviews from the press conference on the YouTube channel. Check them out with Ben Shalom.
Come on.
With Jessica McCaskill.
We'll mention as well, we're actually over 100 subscribers as well now.
Oh,
true.
Since we haven't hit 134 at the minute.
Flying. Thank you. Appreciate all of the support on that one. If you're listening to this and you're not subscribed, the only question I have is why. If you want Welsh boxing content, world boxing content, YouTube shorts, full episodes, segments,
tell them,
interviews.
Go on.
What more do you need? Everything boxing, everything Welsh boxing on the YouTube channel. Hit subscribe, and we'll catch you all next week for another episode.